Hello, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today, I'm working on some acrylic for the first time on linen panel. This is the Centurion, the 5x7, universally primed. So, that being said, I've just been kind of going into it, taking the fast and loose approach, exploring wetting the surface and feeding pigment in, working with the paper towel, lifting, working back and forth, using the techniques of the modern oil tonalist masters, Stuart Davies, Dennis Sheehan, and exploring my own watercolor techniques derived from that in this medium. So this is the third panel. See that there's quite a resistance there. But that's fine. We're just going to go with the flow. This being the third one, probably be the loosest and most expressive. I work in threes since the panels come in packs of 3. And whenever I set up, I kind of put extra paint on the palette. Usually it's oils or the water-soluble oils, and I'm often reluctant to waste. So working in the 3 forces me to use all the paint that I put out, but it also inherently causes a fast and loose loosening to take place as I progress through the 3 of them. It's interesting how it looks like it's almost like soaking in this spot, and then the water is spreading up. Excuse me, I feel like I saw that recently with, was it ink? Was it the Speedball India ink that did that? I almost feel like I should flip this one over and use the white right here as the white of the sky. I'm just using a paper towel. This isn't my normal shop rag that I like to use. It doesn't seem as absorbent. I have a lot going on, a lot to play with. If you watch Mind of Watercolor, the panel is a lot easier to wipe back to white than the cotton paper. I used the Stonehenge Aqua hot press and I just wasn't able to. So panel might be the way to go, or the linen. Anyway, I was mentioning Mind of Watercolor. He has a series of videos on spontaneous watercolor painting, where he'll supersaturate the paper and he'll feed in some pigments. I think he even lifts up and moves his board around and lets the pigments kind of flow and move about. And then from there he kind of sees an image take place. I think he dries off at that point and then paints over it. Really interesting process. I would highly recommend watching that. That's Mind of Watercolor, his spontaneous watercolor paintings. Now, I think the extreme soupiness and the creation of it, the objects, that thought process carries over to a lot of different painters just kind of creating, kind of like writing at random, or maybe just picking a musical scale and just going with the flow. I'm trying to twist a nice little point on this paper towel, but it's not happening. This is a technique demonstrated by Stuart Davies with his oils to create tree trunks and tree branches. Taking a paper towel or Q-tips, or what they call cotton buds, and pulling back to the surface. Now, not only does he use the oil, but he's also using, I think it's the MDF board, which has been gessoed and then sanded down and gessoed a few different times. I believe that Dennis Sheehan uses the same technique, so I believe it pops up with a few different artists, but I would almost just say, in today's day and age, with the information that's out there, that I would just say, in the style of Stuart Davies. If I recall correctly, I'm sure years ago, in the beginning stages of me just watching these things and learning these things, I'm grabbing some paint on the paper towel. I like to use it as a stamp. It might still be too wet to do that, yeah. But I seem to recall that one painter would talk about how the tonalists, or the master painters of the 1800s, would have a cotton rag in their hand and follow the same logic. I'm just using a thin brush to trace some lines throughout. Just putting some black. Let's see. I'm gonna play around with the raw sienna amongst these marks, almost as kind of like an accent. So I've been kind of on a Goya kick lately. And in his dark paintings, you'll see those siennas and ochres applied pretty heavily. I did a few gouache paintings that I would consider in the style of Goya for the first exhibit that I'm in. It was set up on Friday, and I just love ochres, the siennas. I want to bring this dark up here. Probably. Let's see. Yeah, let's put up more black. Now, I did speculate in a previous video. This is something that me and Joe Menza and Matthew Clemens have talked about, that acrylics seem cheap compared to watercolor and oil. And I'm not sure if it's just the cheaper student brands that I'm looking at, or the Blick or the Hobby Lobby or other ones. But let me know in the comments below, are quality acrylics on par price-wise with quality oils and watercolors? I literally have not looked that up. And then if you're buying artist grade, quality, premium acrylics, are you paying for the name, or are you actually getting some good deal? I'm sure that the pigment load, and there's probably less fillers, things like that. Probably the same logic behind oils and watercolor. You could just really push this around. I laid out some Q-tips, but I didn't wind up using any of them. I think I'm going to pause the camera and hit it with a blow dryer and see how that is. Alright, so I hit it with a blow dryer, and I'm not sure if that's good practice or not. It's all learning. But I don't think it's completely dry, but I think now I'll feel more confident just passing a layer on top without disturbing much underneath. So here's the white. Which I found today. It was in I don't know, it was in my oil box, because I have a box of the acrylics that I used like twice, and for some reason this white, let me make sure it's acrylic. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Do this. Let's see how thin of a one I can get. Kind of almost like when I take the rigger in watercolor painting, number 1. Just kind of get that point out there. I will point out it did dry kind of matte and sunken in, so tomorrow should be, I'll have to look online to see how soon I could apply clear gloss medium. It almost feels like carving and shaping. I could probably grab this and on top. There we go. bring that foreground closer to us. Grab some of that black. Oh, here I can do this kind of stamping technique. So I'm just going to grab my paper towel, grab a little pigment on it. My hands are getting really messy with this. Let's see. Go. Let's see if we can get this to push in front. This, that, and the other thing. So I'll wrap up this video in about a minute or two. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there's any acrylic painters out there that are doing kind of fast and loose tonalist work. I'm curious. And let me know what you would like to see me explore. You know, you're always welcome to follow along with anything that I do. So if this piques your interest, or if you want to try it in a different medium, go ahead. And you always have my express permission to sign your name to anything you do whenever you follow along. You have my express permission to sell anything you do whenever you follow along. I want you guys to have money for art supplies and to have fun. A huge thank you to everybody that supports through the Patreon. I have that linked down below. I put the exclusive content up there, and through those donations from Patreon, I'm able to purchase these different materials and experiment with different things. And those of you that like, subscribe, and comment, you really keep me going with just filming these things and trying different things. It really it means a lot. In August and September, I have essentially a solo exhibit that I'm very excited about, and I'll probably talk about it every single day. I really am excited on that, so I'll keep you all posted. I think we'll call it done here. I'll look online, see how soon I can treat the surface of these paintings, and then I'll be back and we'll take a look at how I can go about doing that. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great day.